Yo, what's good? It's Ty Rich from Bite the Podcast. I'm with my girl Monet from Under Dawg Kennels. How you doing today, Monet?
Pretty good, pretty good. Just getting started, but off to a good start.
Yeah, right. You on that West Coast time, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So you just getting around, getting moving.
exactly.
Okay, I appreciate you coming on to the platform today.
Oh, I appreciate the invite. Thank you.
Yeah. You just had like a major coming off a major win that you just had at what the Bully Expo 7.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The best in show, the biggest trophy in the world.
That's how the hell did you get that big trophy home?
Thankfully it broke down in four pieces and I
Oh,
was able to fit three in my car and I had a friend take the other piece. So, teamwork.
right, right. Now, are you the first female to win Bully Expo?
Um, I believe
Best in
so.
show,
I believe
best
so,
in show, I
yeah.
think, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
So I got
major.
Yeah, I got a lot of love on that being, a female breeder to win and with the female dog also. So that kind of went hand
Right,
in hand, I guess.
right, and she fire too.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, she's
She
one of the
fire.
dogs you got to see in person. Super little, super muscular, and functional, of course.
And you produced her?
Yes, yeah, she's a Kobe daughter. She's my keeper along with my boy Nacho.
Right. Yeah, both of them fire.
Thank you.
And Kobe, everybody know Kobe's fire.
Yeah,
Shout out to Bread.
right.
Yeah. So I got a couple questions I want to ask you today,
Okay.
and we're gonna get it started.
All right.
What inspired you to become a dog breeder, and how did you get started in this industry?
I've always been an animal person. My grandmother even bred cocker spaniels when I was younger. I went to school to be a vet, and I've always loved like the pit bull breed is what drew me to it, just because it was kind of like the underdog of the breed, the misunderstood breed, but one of the most loyal. So that always drew me to that dog, and then I just started seeing bulkier pits, and your standard bully at the time or classic bully. Um, and so it kind of started me to do research on it, and then I ended up getting my first one and just kind of seeing how the breeding program started, watching other breeders, and it inspired me to just continue on with it.
How long you been breeding?
8 years. 8 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's major. That's major. Yeah. So what qualities do you look for in a male and female dog before breeding them?
mm, well, that all depends on what my dog lacks. What my dog lacks. When I do a breeding, I breed to mainly starting with the female, breeding to a male that's going to bring anything that she's lacking. If it's head, if it's rear, if it's muscle definition, that's what I'm looking for. While at the same time keeping the good features that my dog has. Try not to take away from anything. I mean, it's a science to it, and you don't always get what you want, but it's you got to kind of like break even and get what you can, and one breeding at a time. I always say, you know.
Right. Like with the girl. What's the girl name that you won with?
The female, her name is Diamond.
Diamond.
Hmm.
What? How did you know? Like, well, I guess for Diamond and Nacho, when you because you produced that litter, how did you know like they were your two keepers? What made you decide like these are my two keepers?
Um, it was eight puppies in the litter, three males, five females, and I kept Nacho because he had, for me, the most confirmation. He seemed like he was the smallest one. He had the most bone. It looked like, um, and his ears stood up at like 4 weeks. So I was like, it was something cute for me. Um,
Right.
and so just over time, and it was a white male, and so I was trying to keep more for the solid suit. So that kind of narrowed it down. And then the female, she had good conformation. I actually ended up keeping another one that had a short tail just because she was the most exotic. So I knew certain features give you the more exotic features that I was kind of going for. So ever since a past situation, I've always been keeping like 2 females out of the litter. In case I lose one, I have another one. Not really a fan of repeats. But I end up just keeping Diamond because she's, again, a solid suit, but she was very compact, nice little round dome on top. And she had like 3 hairs of white on her chest. And I was like, oh, she's pretty solid. So, I held on to her and another one. And just over time, she started to grow on me and fill in, and like one of the smallest ones in her litter. So that helped out.
Right. Yeah, and I thought that was interesting too. How you kept Nacho's ears and then Diamond got the fade.
Yeah, Nacho was the only one that I kept the ears. I cropped the whole litter. And people were like, what made you keep him? It was family and friends were like, he's so cute. Don't cut him. And I was like, well, it's not stopping, semen production. It's not stopping nothing. And he more so was a tool for my program. So I knew the ears didn't bother me. Some I could understand why, putting it on a banner, people assuming it's a Frenchie, but like I said, that didn't bother me. And it kind of fell into his name. We were sitting there. He was watching me eat some Doritos, nacho cheese. And I picked one up and looked at his ear and was like, it kind of looks like his ear. And so it stuck. And so I looked at the bag, and Nacho was a name that I've never heard anybody have. And, I had to keep the ears because it influenced the name. So, here we are.
Right. And it definitely matches.
Yeah. And they sit on them, nice. They're not too big. They stand up all the time, so they kind of fit. So, I kept them.
Right. Okay. How do you ensure the health and well-being when you breed in the dogs and the puppies? What is a way that you go about making sure that you maintain their health?
Well, it definitely comes down to you seeing your dogs in person. Especially your studs, you get to see movement, you get to see all the features that you look for. Tight feet. I mean, I like to get in the show, and I've judged, obviously participated in shows, and I always look to see, clean features, but still bully. Again, good movement, tight feet, breathing. It endurance, mainly with the bullies too, is people want to just let them sit around, and it's like that doesn't help the health with anybody. You have to get up, you have to move, push your body, good food, and genetics is plays a big role. If you try to just breed to healthy dogs, you might get something out of the bunch, but for the most part, if you're breeding healthy dogs, it goes down with it, as far as generations and health, and the puppies, and watching them grow and develop, and not being too quick to sell something, holding on to it and seeing if it develops how you want. And as a breeder, you have to know when to cull, when not to breed, when to pet home, keep that into consideration and make sure you're putting out healthy dogs.
I think you just touched on a good topic right there, knowing when to hold. And I feel like so many people chase the money that they just like, I need to move this dog. And then when they do sell the dog and turn around and look a year later, like, God damn, that was a monster. And be mad. And they be mad. They kick themselves in the ass like,
man,
I sold that dog.
Right. And it happens. I mean, I've sold some that I'm just like, man, that's a beautiful dog. And sometimes, I'll keep certain dogs just for certain features and see, and then, like I said, I have no problem letting somebody else be very satisfied with their dog and good promotion, because it just shows that my productions are good quality,
Absolutely. I know when these breeds, bullies and French bulldogs and stuff like that, sometimes pregnancies can be difficult, or deliveries. Precautions to minimize the risk. Like what precautions do you take to minimize the risk?
Mm, I clean my females out before breeding. Um, add a nutrition. I give a high quality food, add a nutrition, just, me being a woman and having a child, knowing the extras the body needs to support the growth of a child or puppies. Um, so it's always good to give them extra comfort. I mean, they're living, breathing creatures. They feel stress, um, and keeping them comfortable. Always being prepared for emergencies, C-sections. I've had people have a dog that couldn't give birth naturally and unprepared for a C-section. It's like I don't care if you have a double XL bully, anything could happen, so be prepared for a C-section, have an emergency on hand just in case, and then coming home, keeping your female relaxed, confined. I had a female, doing doing the most and busted her stitches and had to get that, excuse me, had to get that redone. And, keeping them comfortable, keeping them confined, just so, that won't happen. Cause it happens a lot more often than
Right.
not. But, yeah. And then, just good food and a good environment.
Right. And that's funny. I never even thought about that or looked at it from that aspect. Like you said, female breeders, being that y'all do carry the babies and everything like that in real life, y'all kind of had that's like an advantage. Even though, like, I never thought about
Right.
that. Even though this is a male dominant sport, but now that you said it, I'm like, this is
Right. We kind of got a little more knowledge on that part. So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It helps. It
Yeah.
helps for sure.
If you could give some advice for somebody that's considering breeding a dog, especially for the first time, what kind of advice would you give?
Mm, I'd say be patient. This one thing about this breeding business, it's um, you have to wait for your males to come of age. You have to wait for your females to come of age. When she conceives, you have to wait for the litter to drop, wait for the puppies to old enough. So it's definitely going to teach you patience. Um, do your homework. Do your homework. Don't be scared to ask questions. It seems like people in the business like hold information under lock and key. Like, I mean, I guess they think people may surpass them, but not everything's for everybody. Somebody will go through something and realize it's just not for them and stop. And but definitely do your homework, ask questions, and be patient. Have a vision. Have a vision. Like, if you're just breeding just to be breeding, I don't feel you're ever gonna get what you want. I don't feel you ever really be proud of what you have. So definitely have a vision, when you go into it, and make smart moves, put things together that are planned for.
Right. That. You just dropped some jewels right there. Definitely dropped some jewels.
Yeah.
Um, how do you manage the emotional aspect of breeding, such as parting with puppies or dealing with the loss of dogs? I know a lot of times we kind of get, attached to the
Hmm.
dogs. They become family. And then even when you have puppies, like the first what 2-3 days is critical. Then the first 2 weeks is critical. And
Right.
it's just like how that's emotional for me. But how do you deal with that?
Yeah, it is, especially like you said, you get attached to it. Puppies, I mean, well, with dogs in general, I mean, so puppies, you get just tired of picking up poop, and it's like, I love all you guys, but for me, it's when I see them go to a home and the person, the family, the kids, they're excited to have the puppy. I get the pictures of them, cuddled up in the bed or outside playing fetch or whatever. It's that kind of makes up for the sad part of losing them, because I know that they're going to get that direct love and attention. And I mean, I love my dogs. I wish I could keep them all, but I know, me being one person, I can't give them all the love all the time. And so being able to disperse it and then being somewhere where they can get more attention, that that satisfies me, letting them go. Even adult dogs, it is a little harder because you've had more time with them. But again, keeping up with the new owners, and seeing them be happy and making them happy is satisfying.
Right.
So that does help me in that separation.
Right. Now I know you say you've been breeding for 8 years. Um, I know you have in 8 years you have seen the industry change.
Hmm.
Um, how has that impacted your work? Like right now, like even the state that the dog game is in right now, like what do you even think about that? Like,
Mm, I feel that a lot of people jumped in thinking that it would be quick money, just have some puppies and sell them for cheap and, pocket a little lump sum. But it's not that easy. People probably weren't prepared to lose litters or lose dogs. So I don't think they were prepared for that. But I feel like it's probably just made me be more like resilient, or like tighter in my program, more smarter with the breedings that I make. Which, like I said, I've always felt like, I put two dogs together for a specific reason. um it's even made me like wait, like I would be like, oh, I could take on 3/4 litters. Now I'd be like, now 1 or 2, like I'll wait,
right,
like no problem, I'll wait on that. So I mean, the industry, yeah, it's changed. And I mean, like any business, you're going to get people that just jump in it, and again, it's just not for them. So I think it was a little wave that the COVID wave, I guess people call it, that people were trying to get into it. And
the
you
pandemic breeders.
yeah, 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 and they realize it's not as quick money. And I don't think a lot of vet offices are really making it easy for breeders either. So that, I mean, one that is supposed to prevent unwanted people. If you're not ready for it, if it's more difficult, you have people jump ship, versus those that push through it. And that will define, the breeders that are for it for the right reasons.
Right. Let's talk about litters. A memorable litter that you have produced. Do you remember a memorable litter that you produce? Like
uh, yeah,
that
yeah,
stands out.
my that Nacho Diamond, that Kobe litter, that was, I say, would be my best litter to date. It was my most profitable litter, my most consistent litter. And like you said, Brad and Kobe are out there, doing the thing and making a name. And that people wanting to branch off of that, he would go to Kobe Productions. So I think that did help as well. That litter, like I said, I've been doing it for 8 years. So my goal was, or is, to create my own line. And the only way I'm going to create my own line is through generations of my productions. So I started with a standard bully, and bought a dog, bought a female, did a breeding, kept a female, bred, and kept a female, bred, and kept a female, and just did it. So Nacho's great great grandfather is a standard, but my goal was to, like I said, create a lineage. So you go back in that pedigree, it's UDK up to that dog. Um, and he was, like I said, that was the most consistent litter. So now that I've created that look off of my breedings, my blood, um, it's now just to make it consistent. It's now just to make it
Right.
consistent. So that was my best litter to date. And now I just, like I said, will breed them to make them, consistent, and just continue on the blood, and my blood to my blood. So
Yeah, that's I feel like that's kind of like a loss. I don't know if I want to say art, but in breeding, I don't feel like nobody's interested in like starting their own bloodline. I feel like people are like I guess, quote unquote, what, pet chasers.
Mm,
So I don't see it. It don't seem like a lot of people like they want to do the whole 4 generation thing. Like you basically
mm.
like I feel like they want to take the shortcut.
Right, right. And it's I mean, I get it. I get it, because like I said, people can go buy, a dog off of a famous dog or a big name, breed it to another big name, and it's, they have puppies off big names. But again, it's like, I mean, and then I guess they want to call it, I mean, it is your productions, but it's not your lineage if it's, you know, 3 times Bape in the background. So
Right.
it takes time. And that's why I think people, again, it's patience, and it's taking the time to do it. And I mean, I feel like if you're going to be in it for the long haul, why not? That way you can have more to show at the end of it, but
Facts.
like I said, I don't, it probably not everybody goal, but like I said, I've never been a pet chaser unless it's a pedigree full of my blood, of my productions. That's what
Right.
I'll be proud, you know.
Right. I feel you.
to-
What is your favorite and least favorite breeding process?
Mm. Well, my favorite process, I mean, once the puppies touch down, that's my favorite. Whelping, it's tough, but it's so rewarding because at the end of you putting these 2 dogs together, you finally get to see what you get, color wise, look wise, like that's my favorite part. And then I love to name the puppies, even if they don't stick. I've had people keep the names, but that's a fun part of it too. um
Mhm.
the worst part, I mean, I don't know if it is really a worst part. Picking up poop. Picking up poop. That's probably the worst part. And any loss. I mean, it's a part of it. I mean, it gets tiresome going up and down the road for these shows, but like I said, when you're there, it's a good time. It's fun. The people are good. So like I said, probably the worst part is just the poop. If I could figure out a way to sell poo, I'd be a millionaire already. So,
Exactly. All
man.
right. The infamous question that everybody always talks about: color or structure?
Oh man. Um Again, I'm in the shows. I'm gonna say structure because I feel you can always get color in 2 breedings. One, you get, if your dog don't carry no color, breed it to color, you got a carrier. Breed it back, boom, you got color. Structure, I feel like it takes a long time to clean something up. Um, Once it has like flaws in it, and that's in hopes that you don't create other flaws trying to clean that up. So like I said, structure structure is something that you should always try to maintain.
I definitely agree. Um, we all know it's no perfect dog, but if Monet could create the perfect dog, what would that look like?
mm. So my goal, perfect dog, nice big round head, cheeks, box muzzle, shoulders, wide chest, not no bow, but a wide chest, straight fronts, um short back, thick rear, full tail. I like, I mean, on the bully, it's supposed to be more of like the terrier, the thin tail. Um, Personally, I like a thicker tail. Um, I don't know, it just feels like it carries more girth with it, but
Mhm.
and maybe probably standing at about 14 inches. I mean, my goal is to make a pocket and a toy, like AKC breeds. You have your standard size, you have your toy size. So my goal is to have the same similar looking dog, just one 12 inches or 10 inches, and then the other 14, 15 inches. But I think a lot of people would still support the breed if it kind of just stood at around 14 inches. That way it could still, jump in and out the car and everything that people still want a dog to do.
Right. Let a dog be a dog.
Right.
Okay. Let me see. I have a whole bunch of questions to
And
ask
hopefully I got a whole bunch of answers.
you. Okay, how do you stay up to date with the latest breeding techniques and advancement in dog breeding?
Social media. Social media is a great tool for keeping up to date on things. I mean, I follow a lot of big breeders, and I do my homework. I really try to study what they're doing that's becoming successful, trial and error, um, and like I said, research and homework. I'm not opposed to reading and learning, cracking open a book, um, and just obtaining some information because with my program, me doing it as long as I have, I'm really trying to be self-sufficient now, and anything that I could do myself, I want to learn how to do. One, it'll save money, and it just gives me more knowledge in um, the path that I'm on, pretty much. So
Okay. When you're selling puppies or rehoming puppies, um, what kind of work do you do as far as like making sure that they're going to the right home? Are you like I'm not going as far as background checks and stuff, but
Mhm.
I mean, some people do. I
Mhm.
mean,
Right,
what
yeah,
what do you do?
and that's one reason why I do like buyers on social media, because it allows me to kind of go to their page and view their profile, and if they have dogs, how they're living a little bit, even the things that they support and they say and they put on their timeline, um, and I ask questions about people. I mean, if they're close enough. I mean, I've done puppy drop offs and done home checks, and I contracts with stipulations on how my dog or puppy should be cared for, and that if it's not cared for, I have the right to take it back. Um, I mean, I've heard some stories of people getting dogs and just not treating them right, and they have to come back, and it's unfortunate, but it happens. And then really just trying to stay in contact with people, getting social medias, phone numbers, emails, addresses, and checking up on them. I mean, it's like I said, you can't prevent all bad things from happening, but just trying to do your best to ensure that the dog's going to good people, and just hearing them out. Like I said, how they express themselves and things that they say kind of gives you an idea of where their mindset is, and a little bit of how they'll probably treat the dog.
Right. What do you see the dog game going in the next 5 years? Like women breeders, I think are really like stepping it up a whole lot, coming with a bunch of fire. Y'all fucking up the shows. Y'all
Right,
like I feel like I mean like the
right.
next 5 years. What do you see it? What do you see it going?
I mean, I definitely see a lot more women getting into it, and I mean, there's male breeders that have daughters, and they're introducing them to it, which is good. So definitely a lot more women coming into it. I think that we, being emotional creatures, might be a little more bit passionate, which can sometimes be not a good thing in certain things, but it I feel like with the dogs, I think that it helps us to, like I said, be a little bit more passionate in what we do and how we present our dogs and ourselves. Um, and next 5 years, I definitely see it getting better, improving. I do feel like we are focusing on bettering the breed. There was this move of clean exotics, and I really just think they're just micro dogs that fit the breed standard, as far as features. Um, and like I said, I mean, I don't care who you are as a breeder, you can't deny a beautifully put together dog. Like, anybody's going to recognize a beautiful dog, and
Right.
I feel that they are pushing for it. We are starting to kind of turn away from certain flaws and features. Is where when exotics first came out, that was the title they put on the dogs that had these features that didn't fit the breed standard. So it's like, oh, okay, well, that's fine, it's exotic. And that was cool until they
Right.
start doubling up on certain things, and it got worse. And It started to put a little tarnish on the bully game. But I think that a lot of people now are breeding for good features. They're going out, looking the dogs and checking the dogs out in person, and trying to breed for, those standards. Because I have regular customers that don't know anything about the breed, and they're like, they show me a picture and they're like, oh, what's wrong with its shoulder? What's wrong with its elbow? Or why is it leg like that? Like they don't know the features. They just know it looks abnormal. And you go to sell a dog and a customer's questioning why something is what it is. You gotta have an answer for that. And I think people just don't want to be put under that kind of scrutiny. So I think that is turning them to clean it up a bit. So I think it is going to get better. I think we are working to improve the breed. And the bully, it's UKC recognized in 2013, so it's fairly new. But I think we are helping to define it. So I think we are going to be getting better, and a lot more ladies are going to be coming out too. So they see that we could do it and do it just as good.
Yeah, fucking the game up.
Right.
Yeah, y'all definitely doing y'all thing.
Right.
So kind of the same question, but more personal, like Under Dawg Kennels, the next for the future. What does that hold for you?
Well, I've accomplished when I first started. Like I said, I would just watch breeders and see what they were doing that would make them successful. How they were going out to shows and things like that. So, that's kind of what I started doing. And, I had a standard, and then I seen people, putting their little dogs on the table. And I was just like, there's a whole little scene, dogs on the table. And I'm like, okay, like I want to be a part of that. So I got to create a little dog. So I started doing that, and that's how I got Nacho. And, now that I feel that I've accomplished a table stacking dog, my next mission is to produce and show a champion or grand champion in ABKC ring. Like I said, my vision is a like a standard or pocket bully, and then my toy bully. So I feel like I've accomplished the toy. So now I pretty much just am working to make that consistent, and then the next goals right now. I have a few pocket females, so I'll be breeding those to some good dogs to try and get in that ABKC ring and get a champion or grand champion. So that's my next mission.
Okay. Well, Bite Podcast family, that's Monet with Under Dawg Kennels. Tell them where they can reach you at. Social media. Shout out your social media and all that stuff.
Right. So my Instagram is UDK_bully_. And my Facebook, Monet Moon. Either or, primary contact. And I'm working on my website right now to have all my breedings and merch and puppies and everything on there too. So that's under construction.
Okay. And I appreciate you doing this interview with me. I really appreciate that. And congratulations again on your big win at the Bully Expo 7, taking home best of show.
Right.
Like she said, fellas, the women coming, man. So,
motivate your girl. Put your girl put your dog out there and stack it up.
Exactly. Yep. Once again, I appreciate you.